Guidelines for a new car-free mega smart city, Master Planning, 2026. Based on an actual 16,492 hectare or 40,752 acre case study for the expansion and modernizing of an existing old city into a new car-free mega smart city. Location confidential. Prepared by MBH International Architects and Urban Designers. All copyright and intellectual property rights reserved by MBH International Poland and MBH Architects South Africa. Part number 2. Configuring these various use zones. Tier 1, the inner city, high-rise mixed use. This diagrammatic layout illustrates the extent of the existing old city outlined in orange, with the new smart city expansion perimeter outlined in light blue to the east or the right of the existing old city. The central core of the new city is indicated in red. This will form Tier 1, the inner city, which will be a predominantly car-free zone and will also be known as the Central Financial District, CFD, or the downtown area. The inner city should consist mainly of high-rise buildings and skyscrapers, and should contain a mix of retail, commercial, and residential buildings, such as international bank and brand headquarters, luxury retail outfits, restaurants, offices and apartments, hotels and apart hotels, as well as places of worship, schools and day hospitals, a central park, and a few smaller parks and green belts distributed throughout. The metro rail encircling the inner city would connect the inner tram and cable pod lines and the outlying Inner City Express, ICE, train stations in the airport into an effective public transportation network, easily accessible by all the inhabitants. Due to poor urban planning in the past and allowing the old city to sprawl over many decades, have caused buildings to encroach onto all roads, even the main arterial road through the old city, effectively erasing the sidewalks. This has caused two main problems. One, that pedestrians are forced to walk in the road surfaces of many busy streets. And two, that there is no road shoulder left to construct tram lines along the road edges. For these reasons, it is suggested that an elevated metro or tram line is constructed overhead the existing main road through the city to join up with the periphery of the new city and the new metro line around the new inner city. Tier 2, the mid-city, medium-rise mixed use. Immediately outside and surrounding the inner city, as well as located along the primary transit system routes, indicated here in orange, medium-rise mixed-use buildings, including a mix of retail, commercial, hospitality, and residential use applications, should be incorporated to form the mid-city. Typically, Tier 2 should consist of medium-rise mixed-use buildings containing a mix of uses such as retail on street level, with 5 to 10 levels of commercial use such as offices above the retail level, with another 10 to 15 levels of residential such as apartments, or hotels above that, so as not to exceed 20 to 30 stories in height. These zones should be easily accessible from the public transit system and should preferably be located along the primary transit network routes. Tier 3, the outer city, low-rise, mixed use. Tier 3, also called the outer city, should consist of a variety of 7 low-rise mixed-use zones. Indicated in this diagrammatic layout of the new city are the 7 Tier 3 zones surrounding the inner and mid-cities, with the mid-city, in orange, expanding partially along the secondary public transit routes into the various Tier 3 zones. Low-rise mixed-use strips, indicated here in yellow, containing a mix of low-rise uses, also expand into the various Tier 3 zones. The first of the Tier 3 zones, indicated here in pink to the east of the inner city, is the predominantly residential zone, with future expansion further east. The secondary public transit routes, consisting of trams and minor roads, integrate from the inner city into and through the residential zone into the next zone to the south. Within the residential zone, a variety of housing solutions should be provided, ranging from low-cost apartments to marinas due to the abundance of water in the region, to luxury and upmarket apartment buildings, and from low-cost townhouses to luxury townhouses, and conventional housing estates to luxury freestanding homes, and from homesteads and eco-estates to equestrian estates. Included in the residential zone should also be a number of auxiliary uses such as daycare centers, schools, aerial medevac points, drone taxi ports, and of course parks and green belts. The second of the low-rise mixed-use zones should be a hospitality zone, indicated here in purple, similarly with mixed-use strips and with future expansion potential southward. The secondary public transport network should continue from the residential zone into and through this zone to connect with the primary transport network encircling the inner city. The hospitality zone should also be located in close proximity to the airport. It should provide for a range of hospitality building typologies, such as hotels and apart hotels, as well as convention centers, and from resorts to waterfronts. Following westward from the hospitality zone should be the industrial zone, indicated here in blue, with future expansion southward and adjoining the airport for logistical reasons, with a continuation of the secondary public transport network. It should provide for a range of industrial building typologies, such as dry ports and distribution centers, and from factories to warehousing. To the north of the industrial zone should be the healthcare zone, with future expansion westward into the old city, so as to be easily accessible from both old and new cities, and thus forming the vital link between the two. The healthcare zone should contain at least one of each of the following healthcare facilities: an academic hospital with up to 350 beds, linked to a medical faculty at the new university, acute hospitals with up to 250 beds with at least level 1 trauma units, specialist hospitals with up to 500 beds, at least 20 operating rooms, cath labs and vascular labs, 16 radiotherapy bunkers with specialty treatments in oncology, cardiology, and ophthalmology, a number of day hospitals with up to 60 beds each, specializing in minor day procedures, psychiatric hospitals with up to 250 beds each, catering for voluntary, involuntary, assisted, adolescent, geriatric, and substance abuse patients. Primary healthcare day clinics with basic casualty, optometry, x-ray, pharmacy, pathology, and dentistry. And of course, veterinary services. Immediately adjacent to and adjoining the healthcare zone should be the educational and academic zone, given the fact that the new academic hospital and the new university's medical faculty should be in close proximity to each other. The educational and academic zone should contain a mix of primary, secondary, and tertiary learning facilities, from daycare to boarding school and university-level education, all integrated into the public transport network. The educational zone should also contain a mix of secondary and tertiary student accommodation facilities, also integrated with the transport network. The recreational zone should be north of the new inner city, along the foot of the ridge dividing the elevated plateau and the valley, with future expansion northwestward onto the plateau and southeastward of the residential zone, utilizing its topography to the best for spas and outdoor activities. Given its topography, it should offer a mix of outdoor and indoor recreational activities, which could include rock climbing and paragliding. Given the abundance of water and natural springs in the region, suitable facilities to be included in the recreational zone could also include water parks and resorts, and hydrotherapy spas. The natural topography of the area also lends itself to the inclusion of a cableway from the valley to the top of the escarpment, a 100,000-seat sports stadium, an idyllic golf course, and mountain biking trails. And in conclusion, included as part of all the Tier 3 outer city low-rise mixed-use zones should be a number of commercial strips, indicated here in yellow, interwoven into all the Tier 3 zones, and located along the secondary transit networks, containing mixed-use buildings not exceeding 5 to 7 stories in height, with shops on street level, with 1 to 2 levels of offices and 1 to 3 more levels of apartments above. All zones should be joined with car-free walkable greenbelts or parks. All zones should also contain well-ventilated underground service corridors, corresponding with the public transit network routes above, for electricity, water, gas and sewer services, reticulation. Garbage removal should be managed by means of unmanned robotic vehicles operating in this underground network of service corridors. Other smart technologies to be incorporated into the city should include high-speed fiber and 5G connectivity, secure cloud infrastructure, and an integrated IoT platform with strong cybersecurity governance. Residential services should incorporate smart meters, building management systems, digital citizen platforms, and AI-driven energy and water optimization to improve efficiency and quality of life. Healthcare should deploy interoperable electronic health records, telemedicine, remote patient monitoring, and AI-assisted diagnostics. Public transport should utilize intelligent transport systems with real-time tracking, integrated ticketing, data-driven traffic management, and low-emission, autonomous-ready infrastructure. Security should be embedded across all systems through citywide smart surveillance, emergency response coordination, secure identity and access management, and privacy by design data protection. This city proposal goes to illustrate that the city of the future, although largely car-free, can still facilitate the use of large cars and trucks, albeit controlled by toll gates, and then only within or up to designated boundaries, after or within which the use of large cars and trucks will become prohibited for the safety of the city's pedestrians.